The sea was still that morning, so still that the reflection of the warship looked like a ghost floating on glass. The USS Courageous had been stationed in the Pacific for 3 months now. Its crew had seen blood, smoke, and silence. But that morning, something else lingered in the air, something none of them could explain. "Hey, before we go any further, what city are you watching from? I seriously love knowing who's out there listening." Commander Blake Harris stood on deck, hands behind his back, watching the horizon burn orange under the rising sun. His men, battle-hardened Navy SEALs, stood in formation below, restless. They had been ordered to assemble for a classified arrival. No one knew who or what was coming. Exactly 0600 hours, a black helicopter appeared out of the mist. No insignia, no identification. It descended quietly, the rotors cutting through the stillness like blades. When it landed, the door opened, and out stepped a woman, tall, lean, and wrapped in desert camouflage that bore no name, no flag, no rank. Every SEAL on deck froze. She wore no insignia, no unit patch, nothing but a silver pendant, a bullet casing hanging from a chain. Her face was calm, unreadable, and her eyes were the color of the ocean. Before a storm, Commander Harris stepped forward. "Identify yourself," he said firmly. The woman didn't salute. She didn't speak. She simply handed him a sealed envelope marked "Classified Eyes Only." Harris tore it open. Inside, one line was typed in bold: "Grant her full operational authority. No questions." Signed, Admiral J. Cross. Every man looked at each other. No one in the SEALs got that kind of order, not even a 4-star general. And yet, here she was. No ID, no history, no record in any database. But as she walked past them toward the command deck, every SEAL stood at attention, not because of rank, but because of something in her presence. It wasn't fear. It wasn't admiration. It was instinct. Something told them this woman had seen things no man could survive. Inside the briefing room, the air was heavy. The lights were dim. The walls lined with tactical maps of the Pacific and red-marked zones that screamed classified operations. Commander Harris stood by the projector, waiting for the woman to explain who she was, but she didn't. She just stood there silently, her gloved hands resting on the table, eyes fixed on a satellite photo. "Agent," Harris began. "Call." "And Raven," she interrupted, her voice low, controlled, almost emotionless. No last name, no title, just Raven. She pointed at the screen. "This," she said, zooming in on a remote island covered in dense jungle, "is where your missing team disappeared 6 days ago." Every man in the room straightened. They all knew. The name Team Shadow, one of the most elite SEAL units ever deployed. Their disappearance had been buried under classified silence. Raven continued, her tone steady, almost surgical. "Command intercepted one last radio transmission before they went dark. The signal mentioned the word Osprey. We don't know what it means yet, but intelligence believes it's connected to an off-grid black weapons program that went rogue." Harris frowned. "How do you know all this if you're not?" She cut him off again, her cold eyes meeting his. "I was part of the same program." A heavy silence followed. Even the hum of the projector seemed to stop. Raven leaned closer to the map. "They're building something there. Something that doesn't exist on paper. Your missing men stumbled upon it. That's why we're going in, quietly," one SEAL spoke up from the back. "And who gave you command over us?" Raven's eyes flicked toward him, calm, unreadable. "No one," she said softly. "I don't take command. I finish what others can't." Harris studied her. He'd seen fearless men, killers, heroes. But this woman carried a silence that felt heavier than war itself. He finally nodded. "All right, Raven, you lead. But you'll follow my call in the field." Her lips curved slightly. Not quite a smile, more like acknowledgement. "Understood, Commander. Just don't get in my way." That night, as the ship cut through black waves toward the island, whispers spread through the SEALs' quarters. Some said she was a CIA ghost operative. Others claimed she was part of an experimental sniper unit that never officially existed. But one rumor chilled them the most: that Raven wasn't even supposed to be alive. Night fell over the ocean like a black curtain. The ship's engines dimmed to a whisper as the SEALs prepared their gear in silence. The moon was hidden behind clouds, the air thick with salt and tension. Raven stood apart from the others, methodically assembling her custom sniper rifle, a weapon unlike any Harris had seen. Matte black, no serial number, and fitted with modifications even military engineers wouldn't recognize. "Where did you get that rifle?" one of the SEALs asked, unable to resist. Raven didn't look up. "It's not where I got it," she said quietly, locking the scope into place. "It's who it's for." No one asked another question. The team loaded into 2 black rubber boats. As they neared the island, the jungle loomed ahead, dark, wet, and silent except for the occasional screech of unseen creatures. "Team 1, flank left," Harris ordered through his mic. "Raven, you're with me. Keep overwatch." She gave a simple nod and vanished into the tree line like smoke. Within seconds, she was gone. No sound, no trace. For 2 hours, they moved deeper into the jungle until they reached a clearing. There, hidden under camouflage nets, stood an entire compound: steel structures, power generators, and tall antenna towers that blinked faint red lights into the night. "This isn't just a lab," Harris muttered. "It's a base." A crackle came through the comms, Raven's voice. "4 guards, north perimeter, snipers on the ridge. Wait for my mark." Then click, silence. One by one, the distant guards dropped. No gunfire, just soft impacts. Raven's shots were surgical, invisible. By the time the team reached the fence, every external guard was down. Not one alarm triggered. "Jesus," one SEAL whispered. "She's not human." Inside the compound, the walls were lined with strange equipment, weapons, chemical containers, and cryogenic tanks filled with a dark liquid. On one of the monitors flickered the word, "Project Osprey Phase 4. Raven stared at it for a long moment. Her fingers trembled slightly for the first time. Harris noticed. "You know what this is, don't you?" She looked up, eyes burning. "I was Project Osprey." The words hit like a bomb. Before Harris could respond, alarms blared across the facility. Red lights flashed. Somewhere in the distance, heavy boots thundered closer. Raven raised her rifle, her voice steady again. "They know we're here. Time to finish what they started." Gunfire erupted through the compound like thunder. The SEALs spread out, taking cover behind metal crates and shattered consoles. Sparks rained from the ceiling as bullets tore through machinery. Raven moved like liquid shadow, never staying in one spot, her rifle whispering death with every pull of the trigger. Each shot precise. Each enemy down before they even hit the floor. Harris barked commands into his mic. "Delta Team, secure. The south exit. Bravo, cover the data servers." Then he turned and froze. Raven was standing at a reinforced door, her eyes locked on a keypad. The alarms reflected crimson in her irises. She entered a code without hesitation, one no outsider could possibly know. The door hissed open. Inside was a narrow hallway lit by pale blue lights. On both sides, cryopods, a dozen of them, each containing a body suspended in a clear chemical solution. Harris stepped closer, his breath catching. "Are those?" "Soldiers," Raven said quietly. "Prototypes. The program used us to create enhanced combat units. No identity, no past, no records, just perfect weapons." Her voice trembled for a second, the first hint of emotion since she arrived. "I was the first, the only one who survived." Harris looked at the pods, men and women frozen mid-breath, their faces peaceful, almost human. "You're telling me this base built you?" Raven's jaw tightened. "They built monsters, then buried them." Before Harris could respond, a booming voice echoed through the intercom. "Welcome back, Agent Zero. I was beginning to think you'd forgotten your home." Raven's grip on her rifle tightened. Dr. Voss, she whispered, the scientist who had led Project Osprey, the man who had erased her existence. His voice slithered through the speakers. You were our masterpiece, Raven. But you ran. You think you can destroy what you are? You are the weapon. The SEALs exchanged uneasy glances. For the first time, Harris saw a flash of pain cross her face, a buried scar opening. Commander, she said, voice steady again, get your men out. I'll handle him. Harris shook his head. We go together. She met his eyes, calm and cold. No, if I fail, this island burns with me. Before he could stop her, she disappeared down the corridor toward the control room, alone, like a shadow returning to where it was born. Raven's boots echoed through the corridor, each step carrying the weight of every secret the world wasn't meant to know. The deeper she went, the louder Dr. Voss's voice became, seeping through the loudspeakers like poison. You were meant to lead them, Raven, not destroy them. You were evolution. Her jaw clenched as she reached the control chamber. The doors slid open with a hiss, revealing a vast room glowing in blue light. Holographic monitors floated around a central console, and at its heart, a tall man in a black lab coat turned slowly to face her. Dr. Voss. His hair was silver now, but his eyes, cold, sharp, hadn't changed. He smiled faintly. Still as beautiful as the day I created you. Raven raised her rifle. You didn't create me. You stole me. He chuckled, almost sadly. You think you had a life before me? You were an orphan, a ghost of war. No country, no name. I gave you purpose. You should thank me. She stepped closer, the barrel steady. You erased my name, my memories, my soul. You didn't need them, he replied. Emotion was weakness. That's why I took it from you. For a long moment, silence filled the room, broken only by the hum of the servers and the faint buzz of electricity. Then Raven whispered, You failed. Voss raised a brow. Did I? She pressed a button on her wrist pad. Outside through the windows, Harris and his SEALs could see the massive antenna towers begin to overload. Sparks danced. Red lights flickered. Raven, what are you doing? Harris shouted through the cum, ending what I began. Dr. Voss lunged for the control panel, but she was faster. One clean shot, a bullet through the system core, and the entire compound erupted in chaos. The walls shook. Fire spilled through the vents. Voss staggered back, clutching his chest. You'll die here too. Raven's voice softened, her eyes strangely peaceful. I died a long time ago. She pulled the final detonator pin. The explosion tore through the island, a bloom of light that consumed everything. The base, the program, the past, all gone. Hours later, as the sun rose over the smoking ruins, rescue helicopters scoured the coastline. The SEALs had made it out, battered but alive. Harris stood by the shore, watching the waves roll in. His heart heavy, a piece of metal washed up near his boots, a silver bullet pendant. Scorched but intact, he picked it up, closing his fist around it. Behind him, a young SEAL asked quietly, Sir, who was she? Harris looked out toward the horizon, voice low. No ID, no history. But every Navy SEAL stood at attention when she appeared. He turned away. She wasn't one of us. She was better. And as the morning light shimmered across the sea, it almost felt like a shadow lingered on the waves, watching, protecting. Unseen, the world would never know her name, but for those who saw her, she would never be forgotten. Thank you for staying till the end. These stories are more than just words. They're moments we all share in some way. If it resonated with you, give it a like, maybe share it forward, and tell me how it made you feel. I love connecting with you guys.